Hi, I'm Ronnie from Ronnie's Garage. We're holding our monthly tech meet at my shop. Today we're going to talk about Silver Cloud 3 pistons and cylinders. From these YouTube videos, I got contacted by a gentleman in the club in St. Louis, Missouri. And he said he bought a Silver Cloud 3 last year and it always smoked real bad out the engine. So he took it to a shop. He didn't say what shop. I don't know who did it. And they said he needed a valve job, so they pulled the heads off and did the valves, put it back together. Still smoking. Same. So what I told him is, well, we're going to have to pull the heads out. If it needs rings, we're going to have to pull the pistons. We've got to look at that before I can give you a pretty fixed price. So we pulled the heads off, inspected the heads, and the machine shop had installed the valve keepers wrong, or the valve seals wrong. They didn't put it together right, so they were not doing anything. So it's sucking oil. But the tops of the pistons all look like this. And just so you know, the top of a piston should have a nice even carbon black look, or tan. Nice even. If there's any shiny spots around the outside edges, that means the rings are allowing oil to go by, so that'll make it smoke. And then of course bad valve seals. We put the valve seals incorrectly. They didn't put the hats over the springs, they didn't put it together right, so the valve seals were not squeezing the valves. But this still bothered me, so we pulled all the pistons. And this is a factory Rolls-Royce piston. This is not. Okay? You wonder why would somebody do that? This piston is very expensive, about 800 bucks. There's 8 of them. Okay?
You said it was about 2,000 a hole, though.
Well, we're not done yet. Okay, so generally, if you got a bad piston, normally they'll overheat and they'll crack and they make noises. And by the way, this engine was pretty noisy, very noisy. So generally, when you do a piston, you do a liner, and then you cut it to fit, and there are rubber seals, and that's about the $2 grand, all in. Per cylinder, there's 8. This is 4.1 in diameter. That's the Rolls-Royce bore, 4.1. Cylinders, 4.1, almost zero clearance. Virtually zero. When you put them in, they're a little tight here. As you can see, this is pretty loose. This is a Chevrolet piston. 4.125, 25 thousandths bigger. Okay? And you think, oh, brilliant. The pins are the same size. Brilliant, right? We can just bore this out 25 thousandths, put these much cheaper Chevrolet pistons in. No problem, right? A little noisier because they have different expansion rates. But there's one big drawback. Rolls-Royce, when they made the first V8, and the Silver Cloud 2s, Bentley S2s, the wrist pins were much smaller. They had a real bad piston knock problem. You hear a lot of Silver Cloud 2s. When they're cold, they knock, 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 knock. And generally, unless there's some major problem in there, when they warm up, they're not too bad. You can still, a trained ear can still hear it. Well, when they went to the Silver Cloud 3, they got smarter. They made a much bigger wrist pin, much bigger. And then they offset it on the piston. It's about 100 thousandths, about 1/8 of an inch. Well, guess what? Chevrolet piston is centered. So that's why this thing makes noise. Yeah, and the reason they just offset the rod a little bit so it doesn't kick the piston when it fires. Because it fires, you know, just as it's coming down, and it's on the thrust side. So the car is here. It's that two-tone blue and silver one. Very, very nice car. It's right-hand drive. Underneath, it's just as nice. And I said, we can put some rings on these, rehome this, and it'll probably not smoke anymore, but you're going to have that knock in the engine. We can't get rid of that. And he wanted it done right. And I says, well, you know, it's a lot of money, but this car I think is worth it because it's a good car. If it were a rusty old driver like my old Bentley, then I would just leave those in.
How does it affect the durability, component durability?
I can't tell you that. I know that Rolls-Royce makes very high-quality pistons.
Does it make noise all the time, or just a slap and noise?
Well, it's a piston slap. It's typical.
All the time?
Yeah.
Was the
So
car?
you're having all the cylinders, it's like an orchestra.
Well, remember, what was that hot buttered popcorn, that song? You pretty much hear, a trained ear can hear it. If you turn up the radio and the air conditioning on high, you're not going to hear it. But I have found over the years that a lot of you people, enthusiasts, Rolls-Royce Club owners, car owners, they're picky, or they prefer things to be done properly.
High standards.
High standards. There you go.
Yeah, people say I'm picky, I say it.
Yeah, because you don't want to infer anything else. Persnickety is a good word also.
3 compression rings.
Sorry?
There's 3 compression rings.
Yeah, this has extra. There's more compression rings, so it's gonna probably get a better sealing. You see, it's got a longer. Well, it's not really longer, is it? I thought it was longer. It's almost the same cut.
But the difference in weight is what?
Weight, I don't know. We could put it on a scale. The biggest difference is that offset on the pin. If they had an offset in this, you're good to go. Just so long as, see, the Rolls has almost a 0 clearance because this piston, when it gets hot, doesn't get much bigger. Very little. And a lesser one, if this is a forged, this is an area piston, ARIA, I think it's what it's. Yeah, Arius, and they even have a part number on here, but I don't recommend usually that. And you talk to the big parts suppliers, like Flying Spares and Intracar and all that. They don't sell aftermarket pistons, except for the 6-cylinders. They sell only these. They don't list them on their because of so many of the inherent noise problems.
No one you know makes a correct aftermarket.
Not at this point, no. They might happen. It might come to that because Rolls and Bentley are pulling back on production for the old cars, the heritage cars. And Introcar is really pushing the envelope on aftermarket stuff. They make bumper ends now for shadows. Brand new. They've made the impact pad for a while. I've bought those before, but brand new bumper ends. So they're tooling up to start reproducing a lot of this stuff. Because these cars are going to be around a while. I think a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot more silver shadows coming out of the woods that 10 years ago I didn't see. Nobody.
So you had to get new sleeves for this?
Yes, we had to get new sleeves because we couldn't use these because they're overboard.
Okay, and then you had to get new piston heads?
We got new pistons, 8 new pistons, 8 new sleeves.
Was hoping to, but I
Put the heads together right, runs beautifully, no smoke.